Discovery Communications. If you don't know what Discovery is, we own Discovery Channel, TLC, Animal Planet, about 13 television networks. And I'm going to talk today a little bit about how we use social media and social TV to engage with our fans and build audiences. So why do we care about social media? So obviously in television we are competing with a lot of other inputs. We're competing with other networks. We're competing with all those devices that you guys are sitting and looking at right now. Tablets, phones, laptops. There's lots of competition for people's discretionary time. So for us, social media is a great way for us to strengthen our relationships with our fans and make people more likely to watch our programming, engage with our programming, and most importantly, talk about our programming. So one thing that we do know is that almost 90% of people who do use the internet are using those mobile devices while they're watching TV. They're surfing, they may be looking up content related to the shows, they may be on their social networking sites, they're posting on Facebook. So this is a great opportunity for us to connect with our viewers, to encourage them to connect with us, to get more information about our programming, and to talk to their friends about what it is that they're watching. We have 4 main social media goals at Discovery. First of all, like I was saying, we want to engage with our fans. We want to humanize the brands. We want to make our talent accessible and easy for fans to get in touch with and learn from and understand their personalities. We're obviously trying to drive tune-in. We want more people watching our programming. We want more people clicking through to our websites. We monetize our sites. We have advertising on them, so we get revenue every time people click through. So whenever we've got content on our fan sites that's relevant to our programming, supplementary to our content, we use social media to encourage people to click through. And then finally, we use social media to gain insights about our fans. I always say that social media is an incredible, immediate, free focus group. It's in real time. We can tell how fans are responding to particular storylines, to particular talent, to shows. It's an incredible way for us to be able to turn to the networks and say, hey, look, this is what people were saying on social last night about this episode of the show, and it's very valuable information. A little bit about our footprint. We have about 75 active Facebook pages with about 46 million fans. We're growing at around 300 to 500,000 fans per week. And we manage these all internally. We don't use agencies, so it's all my centralized team that handles all of these Facebook pages. We've got about 23 Twitter accounts, 2.5 million fans there. We have channels across YouTube for all of our networks, and over 1 million subscribers there. And we've been working with GetGlue now for over a year. In the gamification panel, people were talking about GetGlue stickers. We've been working with them, and we now have custom stickers designed for over 20 of our shows. So people talk about social TV. This is a really kind of hot buzzword right now, and people have different definitions. What is social TV? For us, social TV is basically any kind of online experience that complements the TV experience, that allows viewers to share their interests in real time, no matter where they are, no matter what device they're on, whatever they're doing, they can share what they're watching, and they can engage and interact with our content. So we're building community. We're maybe encouraging people to do check-ins. Maybe it's a chat with a talent. Maybe it's complimentary content on our fan sites that supplements and builds on what they're watching. It's connecting with other fans so that people are on, using our hashtags, talking about our programming, and then they're able to connect with other fans in real time. And connecting with talent, which is something that we're spending a lot of time on. So I'm just going to take you through a couple of different examples of things we've done in social TV about over the last maybe 6 months or so. An Idiot Abroad is a show on Science Channel with Ricky Gervais, and this represented one of our first forays into on-air streaming of social content. So in addition to it just being a very highly engaged social audience, and throughout the season we had GetGlue stickers, and we engaged with fans during all the premieres on Saturday nights, we did a marathon on April 1st, which was April Fool's Day earlier this year. And we rewarded fans by streaming their tweets on air. So you can actually see in this bottom thing is a little hard to see, but it's a fan who's tweeting a picture of his tweet on air. It's this kind of, multi-meta thing going on right here. But what it shows is just that, people love seeing their tweets on TV. People, it's like a little minute of fame, and people get very excited about it. And so streaming content from fans on air is something we're very interested in. We're planning to do a whole lot more of next year. Cake Boss. Buddy Velastro, who's the Cake Boss, is a very engaging figure. People, very beloved. This is one of our most popular Facebook pages. So we've tried to sort of use Buddy as much as we can on social to get people engaged around Cake Boss. So we've had every Monday night at 9 o'clock when the show airs, we have chats that happen on Facebook where either he answers questions or somebody from his bakery answers questions in Facebook in real time so people can get right on and ask their questions. When we crossed the 3 million fan milestone on the page, Buddy made a cake, a Facebook cake. That's that middle picture. It's a little hard to see, but it's a Facebook cake. And we really encourage and try to sort of amplify anything that he's doing that's topical. When Steve Jobs died, he made that apple cake. And he actually put it out to the fans and said, I'm going to make a cake for Steve Jobs. Should I go old school with that rainbow Apple logo, or should I go with a more current one? And it was this overwhelming response to go with the rainbow one, so he made that one. So what we try to do with Cake Boss, and really try to do with all of our shows, is really tap into the personalities of our talent. At Discovery, we're very lucky because we're not dealing with actors, we're dealing with real live people who have interesting jobs and interesting personalities, which is why they have shows. And we really tap into that and try to show and demonstrate that talent and use it to connect with our fans wherever we can. Here's another good talent integration example on our show, What Not to Wear. Clinton Kelly and Stacey London, who are the fashion advisors of the show, we've had them take over the page. One day, Clinton took over our Facebook page for the day, answered a whole bunch of questions, really got in on real time and responded in real time. And I'm not saying anything scientific here, but that night we happened to have the best ratings for What Not to Wear in 8 years. Then a couple weeks later, Stacey London did the same thing on Twitter. So again, personality-infused posts, great way to engage with fans, and it greatly improved our newsfeed impressions, and we had a high in Twitter growth for our TLC account on the day that Stacey was on Twitter. Just generally connecting live with talent while watching. We're doing a lot of that live tweeting during episodes. Last Friday night was the return of season 2 of Gold Rush, which is one of our very popular shows on Discovery Channel. We had the main character on Gold Rush live tweeting the whole episode. So he's offering insights into what he was thinking, what his team was doing, what was happening. He was offering that on Twitter all throughout the episode. Extreme couponing, we've had some of our couponing experts get on and give tips and answer questions and share expert advice. And also just over this past weekend, Carrie Byron, who's one of the Mythbusters, she also hosts a show called Large Dangerous Rocket Ships on Science, and she live tweeted the episode. Again, we think this is like lifting the veil. It's really making these talent very accessible to fans, and hopefully with that engagement, you're driving a lot of live viewership. Here's an example from Animal Planet where we actually made a piece of content exclusively available to people on Twitter who were tweeting about the show. So for the show Whale Wars, we took a sort of an exclusive viewer experience made from cutting room floor content. And anyone who was tweeting about the show and following Animal Planet during the Whale Wars premieres got a private YouTube link, and it was a link that expired, so they could only watch it during a certain period, and they could only get access to it if they were tweeting about the show and following us on Animal Planet, and they got to unlock some exclusive content. So that's just a way of rewarding fans who are engaging with us on social media. User-generated experiences, these can be apps, these can be things that live on our .com sites, but what they are is anything that encourages fans to submit their own content, whether maybe it's a photo, maybe they've made a picture of a cake they're especially proud of. So on the Cake Boss page, we've had user-submitted cakes and people can rate them. And we've even had Buddy go in and comment on the cakes and say, oh, I thought this one was really great. Shark Week, obviously a very big event for us, very, very social. We had a photo frenzy this year where people could submit pictures of their Shark Week fandom. So we had all kinds of pictures of people dressed up as sharks, shark cookies, all the things that people do, crazy things that people do because they're so excited about Shark Week, they could send their pictures in and we spotlighted them on this app. These things can live on Facebook, these things can live on our fan sites, they can live across all of these. The content can then be used for all kinds of photo albums. You can do a lot of very flexible things with this, and it's a very inexpensive and a great way to shine spotlight on fans. And then co-viewing apps. This is something that we're doing more of this year as well. These are apps that actually are pegged to live viewing while you're watching. So for Shark Week this year, we had a co-viewing app that was actually it's called Shark Week Live. It was actually part of our Discovery Channel iPad app. And it was pegged to the live content on television, so that if you were watching it live while the show was airing and you were using the app, you could get supplementary content around Shark Week that would enhance your experience and give you some exclusive stuff. We also use the app to stream all kinds of social content, so you can use the app to follow the conversation, Facebook and Twitter, and it really just makes a much richer interactive experience. The bottom one is called Penn and Teller Guess the Lie. So we have a show out right now on Discovery Channel called Penn and Teller Tell a Lie. And what they do is they have a certain number of lies throughout the course of the episode, and you have to guess which are the real ones and which are actually lies. And then at the end they reveal which is true, which wasn't. So what we did with this Guess the Lie app is that we had people vote on which of the lies they thought were real and which ones they thought were true. And for the first time, we actually integrated the fan voting into the show, so that at the end of the episode, you would see, here is the reveal of this is what percentage of the audience thought that, lie number 1 was real, etc. So this is very, very real time, and we get an email like 5 minutes before the end of the show, and we have a slate that is blank and ready to go, and then we load that content in. So again, these co-viewing apps are another opportunity to take advantage of the fact that people are multitasking and they are doing a million things at the same time while they're watching TV, and these types of experiences just enhance it. So you may be thinking, great, this is all well and good, but I don't have a Buddy Velastro and I don't have Shark Week, so what can I do with social to help my business? So here are some more general takeaways from what we've learned about social over the last 2 years of this team, and how that you can incorporate them into your own strategies. So you all know about social, that it's immediate, it's transparent, it's very, very flexible, and there's no barriers to entry. So take advantage of all of those. And here are some different strategies that you can adopt. First is influencing decision points. So we pay a lot of attention to Twitter, and sometimes people say things like, well, what is tell a lie? Or what should I watch right now? Or, I don't know what to do because Mythbusters is on and there's this basketball game, what should I do? And what we do is we get in there on Twitter and we respond right away, right at that decision point. And we say, here's what it is, or definitely you should be watching Mythbusters, or, here, and we answer the question, and we get these, great responses. Here's this Corey K, what is Tell a Lie? We wrote back, it's this new show. Thanks, now watching. So, this is just one person, but, if we can do this fairly regularly and get all that beautiful amplification on Twitter, then this can have a great impact. So if you think about where are your fans, where are your customers, where is their moment of decision? When is it, we were talking about from the Hilton presentation, and here you had, you had your guests staying and they had all these questions, you're doing this exactly right then. You're getting into when they are at most at their need for information and addressing it. And that's the way to really convert a customer. And it, again, it builds equity in ambassadors on a very individual level, and it helps to humanize your brand. Sharing fandom. We want to make it as easy as possible for our fans to tell all of their friends about our shows. So Get Glue stickers is a great way to do that. It's badging. It's, again, back to the gamification idea, but it's a way of telling everybody this is what I'm a fan of. This is what I'm going out publicly and saying I'm aligning myself with this brand and I like this page and I'm sharing the content. So you're taking those fans, and some of them are just casual fans who may have liked your page, very casually, but the more they interact and the more they share, you're kind of moving them into that ambassadorship area. We keep content all over our sites, very easy to share, very easy to subscribe. Our content is all enabled through Facebook so that you can share content very easily. What we try to do, I always tell my team, across those 75 pages, before you hit send, before you hit post, ask yourself, if I were a fan of this page, would I want to share this content? And if the answer is no, then delete the post. It's not worth it. Every post should be fan-worthy, it should be share-worthy, and we have to hold ourselves to a very high standard of content. Influencers. This is, for us, finding influencers isn't that hard. We find celebrities all the time who are tweeting about our brands, talking about things. This is LeBron James, who got some Georgetown cupcakes, so we were, asking him, what do you think of the cupcakes? Here's a Lauren Bosworth tweet about being toddlers and tiaras, wearing a toddlers and tiaras costume for Halloween. Jason Mraz talking about Shark Week. So, it's easy when you have an entertainment brand because there are a lot of people talking about it. But if you don't, think about who are your influencers, who are your stars. Maybe they're not celebrities, but maybe they're, very important customers. Maybe they're influencers in their field. Maybe they're bloggers. Whoever it is that is influencing a lot of people. Pay attention to them. Figure out who they are, even if it's sort of unexpected. Sometimes we get tweets from really, really random people about our shows, and we're excited, and we go in and retweet them and engage with them as much as we can. So get in there as soon as you can, retweet them, email them, do whatever you need to do, and it doesn't always have to be on social media. Sometimes we'll get a celebrity tweet, and then we'll follow up and send them a T-shirt, or we'll send them some swag, and it just kind of extends that relationship. Pop culture moments. I give a lot of credit to the woman on our team who handles Animal Planet. She's been very good about kind of getting in on things when they've been hot. So you can see up here, this is the Old Spice guy, did a video for Animal Planet. The bottom one, this seems really passé now, but at the time it was very cool because she reached out to the Bronx Zoo's Cobra like the day that Twitter account exploded. And it was right before April Fool's Day, so together they made this joint announcement that the Bronx Zoo's Cobra was going to have her own special on Animal Planet. So again, this seems a little passé now, but at the time it was really like hitting while the iron was really hot on the Bronx Zoo Cobra thing. So, take a chance on pop culture moments when things are happening. If you feel like there's any kind of a nexus with your brand or your product, and you think there's a way that you can get in on that, I think that's always a great thing to do. Know when to say no. There's definitely times when you've seen brands try to jump on like a hashtag bandwagon and it's really backfired. So just make sure that the hashtag is a good fit. Make sure that you understand what the hashtag is before you try to get in there. And again, don't expect results every time, or even most of the time. But every now and again you can hit gold, and it can be one of those great social media moments. The same thing with topical stuff. At Discovery, because we have a lot of vertical areas that we cover, we pay a lot of attention to what's going on in the news and events that are happening, and we try to build in a good nexus with our brand. So you can see up here, this is actually a live tweet from the NASA launch, which I believe was over the summer. And then here's a tweet at the bottom about Steve Jobs. We actually did a documentary shortly after he died. So you don't want to be taking advantage of a situation. Again, make sure there's a good nexus between your brand and whatever the news is. But if you can figure out a way to enter that conversation on your own terms and add some value to it from your own brand, it can be a great way to just extend and to get people more interested. So think ahead, look at the calendar, what holidays are coming up, what milestones are coming up, what pieces of news might be coming up that you might be able to tie your social strategy to. So the takeaways here, empower your team to be flexible, keep an eye out, listen. Look at what your fans are saying, look at what's being said on Twitter, look across and pay attention to the news. It's really helpful if you're a social media team to have buy-in from leadership to go ahead and make decisions on your own. If you have to push through decisions like these through 10 layers and legal and get a whole bunch of sign off, usually that moment's going to pass and it's going to be too late by the time you actually get in there. So if you can get some very early buy-in and says, okay, we trust your judgment, we know you guys know what you're doing, and we're going to let you go ahead and do it, that will make your ability to react much faster. Be nimble but strategic and build on the engagements that you have. Use the fans that you've already got and empower them, turn them into your advocates, turn them into your megaphone, and shine a spotlight on them whenever you can. And that's it.
Thank you. So we have roughly 10 minutes before the lunch break, and we're all very hungry now, but we still have some questions from Gail. Oh, here's one.
What was your best initiative to bring more people on Facebook? What was the event that brought you more likes in a day or
That's a good question. Our growth has been very steady. I like to say it's good content, and it's just kind of organic sharing. But I think that those talent takeovers do a lot. The talent engagement really, really, really helps. Sometimes when we hit on a really good piece of content that people are just sharing, at great numbers, that we can see nice spikes in our growth like that. But I would have to say, if I were going to isolate it, it would be some of those talent examples that I gave before, where they were, very heavily involved, not just like a tweet, but an actual like an hour-long chat or a takeover or something like that.
They go with their own.
Wait, sorry. My bad. I was checking the question.
would they go with their own profile, or they would take your Discovery Channel profile?
Well, a lot of our talent have their own pages and they manage them themselves. But when we do things like those takeovers, we usually ask them to come over to our page. So, for example, Stacey London took over the @TLC Twitter account, and when Buddy Velasco is answering those questions, he's doing that on the Cake Boss page as opposed to on his page.
Do you use any tool like Foursquare or Goala at all? Discovery?
Foursquare, we've looked into Foursquare a lot. Foursquare is so obviously location-based that for television content, it's not an immediate nexus between the two.
Yeah, I know, but I mentioned that because I know, even if it's not exactly, National Geographic actually uses Goala to present the places they present on their programs, which is
right. Yeah, we've thought about it, and it's not one of our primary platforms.
Right. I have to run back there. I'm sorry, guys. We'll go with the lady first, being a gentleman. Okay, thank you.
Hi, you mentioned having 75 Facebook accounts and 25 plus Twitter accounts. And I was just wondering how you manage all that. Do you have like a big team that centralizes everything? Do you tap into the individual channels and brand to help you populate that content?
Yeah, we have a centralized team. I call it almost like a little agency within Discovery, and this centralized team is co-located between our corporate communications team and our digital team. But our clients are all the networks, so it is all centralized. We have about 10 full-time people, and some of them manage over a lot of pages. So we don't use agencies. For us, we like the immediacy of being in the building. We know the content very well. We know the brands very well, and it's a busy team, and they're very efficient. It's the best way I could say it.
Do you monitor other networks, your competition to kind of inspire ideas or things like that?
Sure. I mean, we're always looking to see what other networks are doing. I wish we had more time in the day to do that because people are doing a lot of really innovative stuff. But yeah, we do pay attention, and we certainly have individual competitors for some of our different networks, and we do pay attention.
That's another hand. Oh, look at that. I gotta keep fit with
Miguel, thanks for your time. When you're working with the producers of these programs that have been commissioned by Discovery, are the elements that you're requiring to do your job in the social space part of those deliverables, or like to have the talent on board, et cetera? Or is there separate budget beyond the original commission product to pay for all of this for
Yeah,
you?
that's a good question. A lot of times we work with existing content, so it's not necessarily stuff that's been particularly created for social. Or what we do is we piggyback off of existing shoots. Like if we know talent's going to be in the building and they're doing a shoot for something, we might duck in for the last 10 minutes and, you know, say, can we ask to do a Q&A, or can they record a message to the Facebook fans, things like that. But social, social takes on such a bigger role and a higher profile, we are getting much more on board with our talent negotiating team and our legal team, and starting to really bake talent social media obligations into their contracts. So it's becoming much less of an afterthought and much more of, you know, kind of an equal pillar in the whole overall strategy.
I have time for one more. Oh, no. Never looking the first row. Sorry.
Do you moderate any of your talent? About a month and a half ago, Bear Grylls did an AMA on Reddit. I don't know if you're familiar with that forum. It's pretty much anything goes, and the multitude of questions really go from talking about the show to somewhat inappropriate. And you said that you've kind of built into your contracts with talent now social media outreach. Is that something that you can moderate?
We have talent guidelines. You know, we ask them to abide by when they're on their own social platforms. The best answer I can give you is as best we can. It's some things are unavoidable.
Somewhat inappropriate? That was an understatement of the day. Okay, so I still have time for one more, if you want to have it or not. Oh, you're all ready for lunch, right? Okay, so please give again a big round of applause. Thank you. So 1 hour lunch break. Please be back at what time is it?